Okay, so I pressed it. I think I have all the seams pressed out. And I measured it and I cut it in half at the top. So that's cut. And I cut the selvage off of this side. I left the selvage on the other side until I quilled it. And then after we quilled it, you know, it'll cut off. But we're going to put the right sides together, and then we're going to sew it down the side. And then we will have our backing for our quilt top. Then I will show you how to piece it together. The 3 layers, the backing, the batting. So we're going to put it together like this, and then we're going to sew it 1/4 inch down the side. This seam you can press open. That way, when you're quilting, there's not so much bulk in one side or the other, so you can press the seam open. So we're going to do that, and then I'm going to show you how to put the batting, the quilt top, and the backing together. When you get batting, you should take it out of the bag a few days before you put your quilt together so that it has time to like raise up or open up, because it's smushed into the bag, it's rolled up into a ball or laid into a square, so that way it has time to open up and the seams will soften out, because you should not iron batting. It will melt. So after you put your quilt together, you should not iron your quilt either, because it will melt your batting and it'll make it hard and stiff. So yeah, you can't iron batting. So that's what we're going to do for now. I'm going to sew the backing pieces together, and then we will come back and I will show you how to put the pieces together. We're going to pin them together. Pin all 3 layers together with our little safety pins. So make sure you have some safety pins, a good bit. I like the bigger ones. They're just a little bit nicer. I have curved ones, which the curved ones are nicer. They seem like they're a little bit easier to use to get in underneath the 3 layers of fabric and then close the pin back up. So yeah, you want to maybe get the curved pins. And I also wanted to show you, I have different there we go. I have a couple different thimbles. I like these when I'm quilting. They're made by Clover. They're just a little leather thimble with a metal piece right here, and I seem to be able to work with them better. As you can see, I wore this one out, and so I lost the metal piece, but it still works. You just have to be careful because it will poke through the leather. They do make ones like this. I have tried and I am not a fan of. Now, Grandma used to use the solid thimble, metal thimbles, and she would actually wear holes through the metal on top. But I've tried those and I can't seem to work with them. The needle, I can't find the right hole for the needle to sit into so that it, you know, I can push it through the material. So I do have a hard time with the metal thimbles, so I bought the leather, and that's what I usually use. Now, I did find ones like this, and they're okay too, but there's no metal on them, and I find that the needle, sometimes when I'm pushing it, it'll go right through this part and jab you right between the nail and the skin. So I'm not like a big fan of these, But one of the main reasons I bought this was because sometimes when I'm pushing my needle through, you push it through and you jab your thumb through the material. Sometimes you'll jab your thumb. So for a little bit extra protection, I actually bought these for my thumb. And they do help, but sometimes I've still jabbed them through the seam area and it'll poke you. But you just have to be careful with them. So when you're quilting, you've got your needle on this side and you're, working it way through the fabric. So you just need something there to protect your finger. You do tend to get your fingers calloused after you quilt for a while, but it takes a little bit to callus it. And then if you take a break for too long, the callus will wear back. It'll smooth back over and you have smooth skin again. So you have to start all over. So I just wanted to tell you that. But anyhow, we're going to sew this backing together and then I'll show you how to put it together so you can get ready to quilt it. All right, keep learning.